What's the weirdest advice you've heard that's strangely effective? To improve your posture, pretend that you are shooting lasers out of your nipples and trying to shoot people in the head. Holding your breath for a prolonged time is extremely effective at getting rid of a boner. Instructions are clear. Do not, I repeat, do not hold your breath until you die, or you may end up getting your boner back. How to unclog your nose. Close your mouth and pinch your nose so you can't breathe. Shake your head up and down until you need to breathe. Remove your hand from your nose and breathe through your nose, not your mouth. Been doing this for a while now, and it's pretty effective. Get someone to warm to you by asking them for a small favor, not asking to do something for them, but asking them to do something for you. I have no idea why this works, but it does. Counterintuitive maybe, but it helped my anxiety immensely. In general, no one cares about you, what you're doing, or gives you a second thought once you're out of their sight. It really helped me to stop being self-conscious all the time in public. I started telling myself to stop being so narcissistic, that I'm nowhere near important enough for the general public to remember me days later for the small thing I might have said and done that I thought was cringeworthy. No one cares, and everyone has their own moments where they've done something stupid themselves. They are not taking up their brain space to remember my stupidity when they've got their own to cringe about. It's really helped my social anxiety and interaction heaps. Though there are definitely still days where I'm driving home and berating myself for how awkward I am. Sucking at something is the first step to being sorta good at something. Honestly, it's deflated the embarrassment of making mistakes when learning new things. It's okay to suck at something on your way to okayness. When you are really, really down, the rules of how one does things are out the window. Examples: body image issues, shower in the dark, can't manage to make yourself a sandwich, eat sandwich component out of the fridge, dirty laundry everywhere, take off the laundry basket lid, can't talk on the phone, make up phone persona and rollerplay them, include catchphrase, going to bed makes you nervous, sleep on the couch, can't make up your mind about gifted clutter, put in box, get back if you miss it, gift if not. Brains are really, really weird. Sometimes the smallest thing can be a barrier that is impossible to overcome. Remove barrier. Get through that terrible week like a well-fed, clean-smelling human. Build back from there. For all my people with ADHD or other who struggle with executive function, do chores while waiting. Have something in the oven. Let's see how much laundry you can fold before the timer goes off. Microwave. I bet you can empty the dishwasher in 90 seconds. On a phone call, pop in those earbuds and let's tidy while we talk. I get so hung up on waiting mode, and the novelty of trying to accomplish a small task during that interim feels a bit like a deadline pressure, which is basically the only thing that motivates me. Tricking my brain into a mini productive panic is startlingly effective. As a 30-something adult with newly diagnosed ADHD, I don't operate that way. I follow the if you give a mouse a cookie model. Put something in the oven. Sure, I can vacuum while I wait. Oh damn, the kids led their basketball inside. Why did they have it inside anyway? I'll put it in the garage. Man, this garage is filthy. I'll just tidy it up a minute. Hey, I found my fishing pole. I wonder if that pond around the corner actually has any fish in it. I'll just grab some chicken scraps, bait, and a beer from the garage fridge and go check. Meanwhile, my brownies have started a house fire and I'm trying to figure out where to do with this catfish I caught. I should have brought a bucket. No one thinks about you as much as you do, meaning we are all worried about people thinking about the tiniest embarrassing things we do when no one really cares. It gave me freedom to take on more challenges and not worry about failure. Fail quickly, as in, if your plan may not succeed, better to find out next week than next year. Help me quit a suffocating job and dig into my own business 10/10. This applies in a professional setting too. I'm a software engineer. The client I'm working for right now has a virtual machine that's absolutely required for running and testing the software that several hundred people use on a daily basis. When building a new instance, this VM will quite often run for several hours and then fail. Wouldn't it be great if it could? Oh, I dunno. Query if the required services are actually up and running before starting to build, so it could tell you in seconds that hey, I can't actually do anything. because this service right here is non-functional. Fail fast and stop wasting my damned time. Blinking twice when reading info from textbooks to sort of mimic photographic memory works for me for some reason. Wash your clothes with Vinegar to remove smells. If you forget wet clothes in the washing machine for too long, they'll smell like mildew. Washing them again doesn't really take the smell away. For as many times as you try, wash them again with only 1 liter of white Vinegar. No detergent. Do not use balsamic Vinegar or whatever, and somehow the end result won't smell neither like mildew nor Vinegar, just like pure clean washed clothes. I expected the Vinegar smell to remain, but those clothes were a write-off on my book, so I tried anyway and they came out perfectly. Do it anyway. Don't think you'll succeed. Do it anyway. Don't feel like going to the gym. Do it anyway. Don't want to stick to the diet. Do it anyway. Don't feel like getting out of bed or taking care of your basic needs. Do it anyway. Don't think you'll like it. Do it anyway. Scared of embarrassing yourself. Do it anyway. Think the attractive person will reject you if you ask them out. Do it anyway. Obviously don't apply this to things that put you in harm's way, but I've been lucky enough to live an interesting, in a good way, life based on this approach. If you want to buy something, wait 24 hours, and if you still want to buy it afterwards, then buy it. This has really cut my impulse buying down and has made saving money extremely easy. Put a small stool under your feet when pooping to mimic the natural squatting position. Changed my life, literally. During the first week after my discovery, I had a strong urge to tell all my family and friends about it, but had to restrain myself because of how weird that would sound. So instead I'm sharing this advice with you. Failure is always an option. The difference between science and messing around is writing it down. If nothing you do matters, all that matters is what you do. For a perfect high five, look at the elbow of the other person. 100% of the time it'll be a spot on high five. There was a guy I met at a family-friendly pub once. He was busking, and he had a straw sunhat and mismatched socks. He chatted to my family and came to learn I was deaf, and wrote me a letter that says, "Sometimes it's better to be deaf because the world isn't listening," and for some reason that's always stuck with me. When I need somebody to share my feelings with and nobody listened, or nobody cares, happens often. I'm a man. I just make a person up. Sounds stupid, I know. It's just like an imaginary friend we had when we were younger, but it really helps. I close my eyes and start creating a person as detailed as I can. Looks, backstory, character, and so on. Sometimes it's a good friend. Sometimes more something like a sibling. It is really stupid and strange, but it helps with most of my problems, and I'm sure it could help other as well. This is one I came up with to explain my self-esteem. You can't sad your ugly away. I woke up one day after years of torment, a lot of which from myself, and realized that being upset about how I look won't make me any prettier, so I may as well just own my looks. I can fix what I can, but being upset about it ain't gonna do sh. May as well love my fugly self. Loving myself when I felt no one else would, and being happy and enjoying life despite it all. It really is the greatest revenge I could come up with. I tell my daughter to add the word "yet" after anything about lacking something. I don't know how to play this game becomes I don't know how to play this game yet. That sort of thing. It's meant to redirect negative self-admonishment into a drive to grow and learn. And apparently it's sinking in, because she will say something like, "Ugh, I can't make it up this hill," while we're out bike riding, and then catch me looking at her, give a big eye roll and go "yet," in the exact tone you think a teenage girl would use. Then she ends up sometimes just rage succeeding to prove the point. It's great. She's going to be at least 3 times better than me, low as that bar may be. Exposure therapy. It sounded like BS to me, and there's hardly any info online about it. Basically, whatever you have an issue with regarding anxiety, just expose yourself to it more without hesitating. I have claustrophobia. I found out in an MRI machine. I almost flipped TF out and had to be taken out cause I started panicking. On my next appointment, I was scared just anticipating it, but I bit the bullet and thought about Batman and how he faced his fears and went into that coffin machine again. Even though I still had anxiety and I had to keep my eyes closed, I focused on my breathing and imagined I was at the beach while doing my best to tune out the machine's loud banging. 40 minutes went by much faster than I thought. I was so proud of myself. Exposure therapy is supposed to start small and increase the doses little by little. First you train yourself to tolerate an elevator, then to share it with 2 people. Then you can handle the MRI machine, and eventually, the coffin. What you describe sounds not like therapy, but just suffering through something. But then if you only discovered the phobia when you went into an MRI machine in the first place, perhaps yours is not that severe. I know people who can barely handle subway. Stressed, upset, panic attack. Put an ice cube in your hand. Move it around your hand until it slowly melts. It takes about 5 minutes. Primary effect: the cold on your skin grabs your brain's attention. You stop thinking about what was stressing you out and feel present in the moment. Secondary effect: the cold cools your blood, which goes into your heart and slows down the beating. As your heartbeat slows, to maintain your body heat, your lungs breathe more slowly as well. It forces you to breathe, which calms you down. After 5 minutes of this, you will feel much calmer, if slightly drippy. People only hear what they see, so no matter how smart or deep a statement is, people will judge it more by how the person presents themselves than how they articulate. Not a hard and fast rule, but it seems to work. It's probably why pop stars with average musical outputs do much better commercially than weird looking musicians with a lot of talent. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. Floor needs to be swept. Better to sweep most of it, but not get all the way in the corners than not do it at all. You want to learn to play the piano / speak another language / etc, but don't have enough time to practice very often. Go for it anyway. Better to learn a little and not be perfect than not do it at all. My whole life changed when I started embracing this concept. My house is cleaner, my yard looks awesome, and my various random skills went up because I accepted the fact that I didn't have to be perfect. Not only did all of those things change for the better, but now I don't view stuff like sweeping as chore, but as something that I actually want to do.